What is up, Postal Besties? It is your girl Creole Barbie with USPS Blogs. If you're not familiar with me, and indeed it's your first time visiting my channel, hello, welcome. I'm Creole Barbie. I'm a current USPS employee who speaks about life as an employee working for the Postal Service. If you want to get more acquainted on what type of content I have here on the channel, be sure to check out my USPS playlist that will give you a great deal of insight on what to expect while joining the Postal Service. But before I get into the video, you guys, if you hadn't done so already and you would like to become a Postal Bestie, be sure to slap a high five and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a beat when it comes to my uploads. You guys, it has a lot been going on right now within the Postal Service. Therefore, let's get into it because I have a lot of news to share with you guys. But first and foremost, let's talk about what's happening right now as we speak. Just in today, I read an article. President Trump has officially announced our new Postmaster General. We have a new Postmaster General, and his name is David Steiner. Now, he is an ex board member of FedEx. He has been appointed our new Postmaster General. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little more about David Steiner because I know you guys are curious to know exactly who he is and also what he has to bring to the table when it comes on leading the United States Postal Service. So let's get into it. So starting off with David Steiner. David Steiner, a FedEx board member and former CEO of Waste Management, seen here in 2013, has been selected to be Postmaster General by U.S. Postal Service Governing Board. David Steiner, a former CEO of the nation's largest waste management company, who currently serves on the FedEx Board of Directors, is poised to take over control of the U.S. Postal Service, becoming the nation's 76th Postmaster General. The announcement of Steiner's appointment, which heightened concerns from postal unions over possible efforts to privatize the USPS, was made Friday by Amber McReynolds, chairperson of the USPS Board of Governors, during a meeting of the independent group that oversees the service. We anticipate that Mr. Steiner will join the organization in July, assuming his successful completion of the ethics and security clearance process that are currently underway, McReynolds said. Friday's announcement by the Board of Governors comes as President Trump and his advisor, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has raised the idea of privatizing the nearly 250-year-old postal service, which has faced financial challenges and a changing mail mix and other issues. The choice of Steiner has been seen by the postal unions as a harbinger for possible privatization of some or all of the vulnerable public institution, which is largely self-funded and has a mission to serve every address in the country. Nearly 167 million residences, businesses, and post office boxes. You guys, so that is that on the postal news that was released May 9th of 2025 about the Board of Governors appoints David Steiner to be the 76th Postmaster General and CEO of the United States Postal Service. Comment in the comment section below. Share your thoughts on how you feel. A lot of people that I've noticed right now are in a uproar. They're saying that it's time to get in the union if you're not in the union, and they're saying things like the man wants to privatize the postal service. We are going downhill from there and things like that. However, not to scare anyone, but I feel like it is a time that we all keep our eyes open. There is a lot of changes that's definitely coming into play. Some we may agree with, some we may not agree with. However, we bear the storm of the joy and we're going to have to bear this storm. But I do feel like for me personally, I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to see exactly where things go. Hopefully, it takes a turn for the best and not the worst. So I'm just going to remain optimistic. However, there's a lot of our fellow postal family is like totally against it. They are up in an uproar. They're nervous and they don't know what's going to happen next. So we're all going to just stay and wait and see what happens. So comment below on how you feel about the new postmaster general. Do you think things are going to work? Will they not work? Or will it be just like Bejoy or worse? Comment. I'm curious to know. However, because we are moving the mail today, I have to continue at a fast pace as always. Let's go ahead and push the clock and begin to move the mail. So the second thing I want to talk about is TSP. We faced a big hit when it comes to our TSP, especially those who are vested in the C fund and the S fund. I'm going to talk more about TSP. Stock market is at an uproar. What do you do? All right, so here are some considerations for your TSP and other investments. Based on current market conditions and historical patterns, here are some practical steps to consider for your investment strategy. So, what they're saying is that when you see that the stock market is in an uproar like it is now, and you're not having a high return rate, what you should do is consider diversifying your portfolio. And here are some ways that you can do that. So while it's tempting to concentrate investments in well-known tech companies or throw everything in the SP 500C fund, when things are going well, consider broadening your exposure. Unfortunately, the TSP doesn't have the growth and value funds to choose from. But if you have other investments outside of TSP, you'll be able to find those, including small cap funds like the S fund and potentially international exposure will add extra layers of diversification. We need to acknowledge that both of these sectors have a tendency to be volatile in the short run. And this is something that me and my coworker was talking about because I was complaining to her about my TSP investments and how it seems like I'm not making any money. I'm like, I just want to take everything out. And she's like, listen, you just have to find a way to be in the long game. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She was like, easy. Like, this TSP stuff is not a short game, it's definitely a long game. When you guys are feeling like, wow, what do I do next with my money? Again, find ways to diversify your profile. I'm not going to say just keep everything in the C fund, but definitely you can put like 80 in the C, 25 in the S, or 50 in the C, 50 in the S. As long as your contribution amount comes up to 100% of your investment in whichever fund you choose to be a part of, you're fine. Bond strategy optimization. Instead of avoiding bonds altogether or using guaranteed rate funds like the G fund, consider more broad bonds exposure as interest rates stabilize and of these sectors have a tendency to be volatile in the short run, or using the guaranteed rates funds like the G fund, consider more broad exposure as rates stabilize and potentially come down. One thing about the G fund is typically used for people who's been there for a while, meaning they probably already invested in the C fund and the S fund, but now they're on their way out. So if they don't want to risk their investments by being there 30 or 40 years or even 20 years and have their money lost. So a lot of people, a lot of the veterans, they tend to invest in the G fund because they're on their way out. It's not aggressive and it's guaranteed whatever's in there is going to be in there. However, if you just now starting your postal career, you don't want to be in funds like that because you want to be able to make your money work for you. Me personally, I wouldn't want to do that. Now, as time go on and the later in my career goes, then yes, I will get out of the more aggressive fund and get into a less aggressive fund. Investments outside of TSP. I want to talk about this because a lot of people are doing this now that I've noticed. And what they're doing is they are investing in gold and silver. So they're taking a portion of their TSP and they're going to a Roth IRA or like a gold and silver investment company and they're investing a portion of their TSP into gold and silver. Now, this isn't an option on TSP where if you were to go on the website, they don't have an option to invest in gold and silver. So you have to take whatever you're going to take out of your TSP savings and roll it over to an account to where you're able to invest in gold and silver. Now, some people tell me that they're doing it because of where the stock market is right now and they want to be able to make more money. However, me myself, I'm still in the midst of doing a lot of research to make sure that this may be beneficial for me. And also, I'm being more conscious when it comes to third party companies scammers out there. Like, this is our hard earned money. So make sure you do your due diligence by doing a lot of research on these companies if you were to do that. Make sure, number one, it's a reputable company. If you guys have questions about things like this, I will always say go to a financial advisor and talk to them and share your plans on what you would like to do in order to make your retirement grow for you and suggest ideas. And it's best to like do this stuff now while you're young. It's never too late to do this, never too late to tweak or change or make adjustments when it comes to your future. So, you guys, just keep this stuff in mind, okay? Now, moving on, because we are moving the mail. So, as we move the mail, I want to talk about student loan forgiveness programs because a lot of people that work at the Postal Service has some type of student loan debt. Now, keep in mind, rumors are circulating now that student loan forgiveness programs is not going to be accessible any longer. However, if you are a person who has student loan debt, I suggest you right now pay attention to this video, okay? Because I'm going to tell you how you can get your student loan taken care of as a federal worker. So let's go. All right, so the United States Postal Service, USPS employees may be eligible for student loan forgiveness through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, which is PSLF program. This program forgives the remaining balance on direct loans after 120 qualifying payments have been made while working full-time for a qualifying public service organization such as USPS. Qualifying employer, USPS is considered a qualifying employer as a government agency. Qualifying loans. Direct loans include direct subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Direct plus loans and direct consolidation loans are eligible for PSLF. Qualifying payments. 120 on-time payments are required, which can be consecutive or non-consecutive. How you can apply. So how you will apply is that you'll check eligibility, ensure you have direct loans and meet the qualifying employer and payment requirements. Use the PSLF help tool. This tool can assist with the application process and determine eligibility. Submit application. Fill out the necessary forms on the U.S. Department of Education website. I'm going to have that link posted in the description box of this video for you guys to be able to click on it and actually check that out. Now, for the additional information, temporary changes, recent changes allow for more flexibility in qualifying payments, including counting certain periods of forbearance towards the 120 payment requirement. Debt forgiveness. Over 871,000 borrowers have had their loans forgiven through PSLF, with more than 62.5 billion in debt relief since 2021. So, you guys, that is that on your student forgiveness loans. Again, I will have the information attached to the description box below for you guys to be able to check that out in case you have some debt. Because right now, when you're elevating your life, we are elevating our lifestyle. With that being said, we're getting rid of any debt in 2025. However, you guys, that is my time now with moving the mail with the viewers. I love moving mail with you guys, okay? Be sure, if you hadn't done so already, and you want to stay connected with more videos, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. In the meantime, I gotta go because I have another video that's dropping after this video, and you don't want to miss it.